Hello and welcome to a new vlog and video of the Cruise Vibes, and today we're taking a look at the first 2 days on board of the Costa Favolosa that I showed to you in the last video. We're starting in Savona in Italy and we are going to Marseille in France, and then in the next video we will continue on to the final port of Barcelona. Here on the map you can see our route today, and we are starting early in the morning in the Idea hotel where I arrived in the second to last video, and I could already see the funnel of the Costa Favolosa from my hotel room, and after a short small breakfast it was time to leave the hotel and walk to the terminal. The walk takes about 45 minutes to 1 hour. Of course I could take a taxi, but I had enough time because I had to leave the hotel at 11 and I should arrive at the terminal at 12, so that was the perfect timing. And the weather was nice, and Savona is a beautiful city, so it was a good idea to walk there. The walk is pretty scenic, you can see a lot of this beautiful city, so if you have the time I would recommend walking, even though it might be a bit uncomfortable with the luggage, but still it's a quite scenic walk and for sure worth it. You will end up in the marina of Savona where you can see a lot of nice ships. You're walking under palm trees, and at one point you will finally get to see your cruise ship, as you can see here. And you can also take some very nice pictures from the port of Savona, as you can see here. And I already knew that I won't leave the ship in Marseille, and I also knew that in Barcelona there's not a very good chance to take pictures of your cruise ship, so I used this chance to take some nice pictures of the ship, and then I headed to the terminal. To get into the terminal you need to show your booking confirmation, as it is a secured area. So make sure to have everything ready when you're getting close to the terminal. And once I got to the terminal, I received a number 10, without anybody looking at my designated boarding time. Boarding started at 1 o'clock, so 1 hour after I arrived, but they started with group number 1. And it took about 15 minutes for each group. Some groups were faster, some took longer, but in the end it was 3 o'clock when I arrived on board, so it took 3 hours for boarding. And that seemed like something went wrong there, because it was over-organized with those boarding groups, even though I already had my designated time to arrive at the terminal. And for sure it was not supposed to take 3 hours, so I think something went wrong there. But in the end it doesn't matter, because I got into my nice balcony cabin, which is a very special cabin because it's located at the rear of the ship, so I have a view over the stern wave, and that's amazing. We'll take now a closer look of my cabin. Here you can see the bathroom, which unfortunately comes with a shower curtain, but otherwise it's a very nice bathroom, typical for a cruise ship, as I would say. And the spacious cabin, which comes with a seating area, a desk not with a proper chair unfortunately, so it's not perfect for working, but at least there is a desk, a very nice and comfortable bed, and of course the highlight of the cabin is the balcony. I would have preferred to have sun lounges here, as the balcony is quite long instead of the chairs, but that's just a small thing. But otherwise it's perfect, because look at this view over the stern wave. That is amazing. Those are my favorite cabins on cruise ships. Usually hard to get and quite expensive, but here I was lucky to get this nice cabin. And it was actually not noisy at all. I didn't hear anything from the engine. Usually I really like to hear from the engine, and I can sleep very well when I hear the sound of the engine, but here you couldn't hear anything from the engine, so it is a quite calm and quiet cabin. What I really like are those power sockets, the USB power sockets right next to the bed, so you can charge your phone next to the bed. We have a mini bar available and a lot of storage space, so we have several drawers all over the cabin. For example, right here next to the desk there's also a hairdryer available, and we have a proper wardrobe, of course, with a lot of space as well. So you can see here also with a safe provided. And that's not it, because here this rather thin part of the cabin there is also another wardrobe, so you have a lot of storage space in this cabin. Then it was time for the safety drill. I had to put on the life jacket and head to the assembly station, and that's already it. And in the afternoon the emergency signal was sounded. Passengers who didn't participate in the digital emergency drill had to follow the signal and go to the assembly station, but as I already done everything, I didn't have to do anything at all. But as the embarkation took so long, quite a few passengers missed the digital emergency drill, so they had to participate in the regular drill. Here you can see a beautiful sunset, and shortly after it was time to leave, here we can see the departure from Savona in a time-lapse from my balcony. Of course, I watched the first sail away from my very nice balcony. We will see it in a second also with a few more details and with my camera that is a bit better when it's dark outside. But here you can see the time-lapse that I filmed with the GoPro, and now we're switching to my camera, which is a bit better when it's dark outside, and we take a closer look at the departure here from Savona. First destination, as I said, will be Marseille in France, and I've already planned to not leave the ship in Marseille as I've been there 1 year before, and also I will be there probably many more times, so I decided to rather enjoy my cabin. And of course I also enjoyed the sail away from Savona here on the beautiful balcony. We sailed during full moon, so there was a lot of light, and here you can see the beautiful view of Savona from the ocean with the small villages on the coastline. So that's a very scenic view, and of course you can only enjoy that from a cabin like my cabin here at the rear part of the ship with the view over the stern reef. So I mean, what could be better than having this view from your cabin? That was just perfect. I was very lucky that I got this cabin. Probably because the ship is going on a transatlantic cruise across the ocean, and you can book this from Savona but also from Barcelona, and I think this cabin was booked from Barcelona, so I was lucky to get it on the short stretch from Savona to Barcelona. But of course that's not it for the day. It was time for dinner now, and as you can see the dinner looks amazing, and also the quality was very good, and I was very curious about the food. I had very good experiences with the food on the Costa Fortuna, and I wanted to know if that was just luck or if it's always this good with Costa. And as you can see, the quality is amazing. I then visited a couple of bars to discover the ship, see a bit of the ship, and especially here in the main bar you can see that the atmosphere is great. People are dancing, having a good time, singing, and that is very typical for the ships of Costa. Then it was time to sleep, and on the next morning I woke up very early by chance, and exactly at the moment when we arrived in Marseille, and I could enjoy sailing into the port of Marseille with the first rays of sunshine. But of course then I turned over and continued to sleep a bit, and then I had a very late breakfast at a buffet restaurant. If you have breakfast at a buffet restaurant, there is not the best coffee, but you can use those coffee machines if you have a drink package, and then this great coffee is also for free. I then went to my cabin, of course, and on the balcony. It was very nice weather. I could even sit outside with a t-shirt on, even though it was November, so the weather was perfect, and I just spent the whole morning on my balcony in the sun, watching the skyline of Marseille and the ships that were around us, like the Costa Favolosa, which was in dry dock at the moment. And then it was already time for a lunch, and also lunch was amazing. You usually get 4 courses, a starter, a pasta dish, a main course and a dessert, so quality of the food is excellent. I heard a lot of negative comments about Costa, and I also saw a lot of YouTube videos calling Costa the worst cruise company ever, or the Ryanair of cruises, and other clickbait titles. So make sure to not watch those videos. Those videos have those titles to make you click on it, but that's just clickbait. Costa is not as bad as those videos want you to think they are. Costa is actually pretty good. The value for money is amazing. I have been on many cruise ships, and most of them were more expensive than Costa, and on many of them the food was much worse, because here the food actually is amazing, especially if you consider how cheap cruises with Costa are. So value for money is excellent. Also the service was amazing, so I don't know why people are hating on Costa. I do not get any money from Costa. I was just a regular passenger, paid a full fare. I'm just genuinely surprised by how good Costa actually is. It's now my second cruise with them, and again I was very surprised by the quality. Only downside of this whole cruise was the long waiting time at the embarkation, but that's it. Everything else was perfect and I was very happy with this cruise. After a very relaxed day so far on my balcony and in the restaurants, I decided it's time for some sports and I headed for the gym. As you can see, the window alignment is a bit strange because the windows are quite low, so if you're using the sports equipment you cannot actually watch out of the window, but otherwise it's a very nice and well-equipped gym. And here we can see the skyline of Marseille in the golden hour, very nice sunlight, and then it was time for the departure, the sail away. Again we can take a look at the time-lapse first. Here we are sailing out of Marseille and heading for Barcelona, where we will arrive tomorrow morning. And again, during sail away the sun started to set and we will now take a closer look at the departure filmed with my other camera. So here we have a last view of Marseille. Here you can see the full moon and the Marseille sign here in the mountains. And then we were sailing past the MSC Poesia, a ship that I was traveling on in 2023. Also, the Poesia is a quite beautiful ship. I have a few videos about her also on my channel, so make sure to watch them if you're interested in this ship as well. In the background you can see the Costa Favolosa, hopefully topic of upcoming videos. And there was another ship, a cruise ship of Celebrity Cruises, also in dry dock. Here we can enjoy the perfect view over the sternway from my cabin again, with the city of Marseille in the background. Again, I spent quite a lot of time on my balcony just because the view was breathtaking and it's just so nice to have a balcony, the rear part of the ship with the view over the sternway. I then headed for the Aperol Spritz bar to at least have one drink there and try it out, but it was already quite cold, so I just had this drink quite quickly and changed for an indoor bar. Chose the Sunset Lounge bar, front part of the ship, which was pretty empty at this time. But that was pretty good, because so I got even better service, because the whole crew was just working for me in this moment, and I ordered a very special cocktail that you only can get here at this bar. So as you can see, quite unique experience. Of course I had to try it. And here you can see how it looks when you drink a cocktail like this, so that was quite fun. And then I had a very special evening planned because I had a reservation in the Archipelago restaurant, which is a proper fine dining restaurant. There are 3 menus to choose from and they all have been created by chefs with 1, 2 or 3 Michelin stars. And this is not fine dining for beginners. You should have a bit of knowledge about food and you should be interested in food, interested in trying new things, because they are quite complex menus and it's very nice and interesting. But as I said, you need to have a bit of knowledge or interest in food, and you need to have a will to try new things, because the menus can be a bit special. So make sure to check the menus first before making the reservation and thinking about whether you might like it or not. I personally really enjoyed this evening. It was very interesting, and even for me, for a person that likes to go for fine dining, there was a lot of new things, so that was pretty interesting and nice, and a very well ending of the last evening on board of the Costa Favolosa. After that I went to sleep, and we will see what happened on the next day in the next video. Here you can see when this video will be uploaded and the name of the song. As always, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to comment, like, subscribe or share the video link, and I hope to see you in the next video then.